I think that's exactly the problem with a lot of Lutheran identity. Is Lutheran identity has been so focused in, especially the last 100 years or so, on just this figure of Martin Luther. And I think that's completely wrong-headed. It's certainly not what Luther himself would have wanted. And it's really not how the Lutheran tradition has seen itself before. And I think it's just so key to say Lutheran theology is defined by our confessional heritage. It's defined by our confessions. We have a book of confessions, the Book of Concord. In reality, Melanchthon wrote more of the Book of Concord than Luther did. And Luther has writings in there, and he certainly is a key figure in his historical moment and unique in that way. But there is no reason to define Lutheranism by just its founder any more than there is to define the Reformed tradition solely by Calvin. I think that's mistaken. So I would say, to some extent, when we're talking about these questions, while I do think it's important to show that there is continuity between Luther and the later tradition, in some ways, though, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to prove Luther believed everything that Johann Gerhard said, or these any of these later figures, because it doesn't really matter. We have to show that there's enough continuity that this isn't a total departure, I think, from the tradition, but we don't have to find every particular in every theologian. And if we were to say find a definitive disagreement between where Luther is coming from or someone like a Martin Chemnitz is coming from, do we have to side with Luther? Of course not. I mean, that's such a wrong view. So I sometimes hear Todd Wilkin, who's the host of the program Issues, Etc., which is very popular among Lutherans. But I know he's identified Lutheranism versus Lutheranism. And I think that's a very helpful way to kind of show what's going on in a lot of scholarship. It's a Lutheranism. It's just following Luther. But Lutheranism is really following what is our confessional heritage.